Hey guys, welcome back to the pond scape out in my front yard. Um, it is now officially fall, and like I said in other videos, I was going to get a bigger pump because I needed more flow to disturb the pond, the water here, and I did. Still trying it out, but it's giving me a desired flow that I think should overwinter. So, yeah, I mean, it's now the 28th, 29th of September. Officially fall. See all the leaves from my Japanese magnolia. Got a ton of impatiens growing. I mean, like wildfire in the pond. I mean, it's amazing. You want some color around it in a shady area. I mean, this pond only gets about 4, maybe 5 hours of sun. This part being getting the most. And yeah, I think my plan might be to build a bigger water feature here in the spring. But with the new pump, I got a ton of flow through here. We should keep this oxygenated. And oh yeah, look, my lily is throwing, hopefully not the last one, but if it is, it's a very pretty last flower of the year. And yeah, the plants just, well, I mean, this grew huge. Some of these things just exploded, which is going to give me some ideas to put them different places as to not mess with the flow of the water. My sweet flag didn't grow that great as I thought. I thought it would grow a little bit bigger, which would have been kind of cool, but it might be restricted because it's in pots and the lack of sun. Still, I can't believe that came out of my vines. Just letting it grow for the season. I'm going to cut it down. The hostas are finally starting to fade away. And yeah, there's my new pump line. I'm probably going to bury in the ground to keep it from freezing over winter, which I don't think I'd have a problem with it anyway if I stuck it back where the other pipe was going. But it comes back here. Right now I just have it, if you see it, just going in where the rain spout goes in. Goes through some rocks and some Canna lily roots and the impatient roots. I mean, those impatient actually have some pretty thick stems. We'll try to get a look. Whoop, tripping over rocks here. It has some pretty thick stems for being out here in the pond. So I mean, it's filtering the water nicely. Did have a problem with some hair algae this year, but I think that's because of excess mulm and leaf litter and stuff I did not take out of the pond. I just threw fish in and said screw it. So that's on me. Got some mosses growing on some wood. I gathered some of that from the yard, and some was actually aquatic mosses from my 150 gallon tank inside. Had a little bit of issues with when I put the pump on though. I got the pump came on. I had, as you can see, got some slate there lifting up the corner of the pond because I was losing water over there, which kind of infuriated me because I come home from work and this part of the pond here would be almost drained completely. So I think I fixed it. Everything's back up and running. I got to get it fixed before winter time. Otherwise, I'm just going to take this hose, wrap it up, put it in the pond down there, and just stick the hose end in this little kidney pond and flow water that way. And to take the fish out of the ponds and put them down to the bottom pond. There ain't many goldfish left over here that I picked up from Petco. but there's some left. Again, I think I'm gonna revamp that idea right there, but we'll see. Then I got ivy growing through here, which has been at bay. Just didn't really grow too crazy, but took over a little bit of spaces. We got some different kind of ivy over here. An Amazon sword that I left in a pot last year in the other pond, which I'm probably just going to return that back there again. And it survived the winter last year. And we didn't have a mild winter, but it was quite cold, and it survived, which amazed me. It completely amazed me. So yeah, I mean, there's some areas of pond liner showing right now because I had the issues. And looks like I might have another issue here. Maybe it's a little wet. Alright, I'm just gonna have to lift the pond up, or pond liner up, stuff it with some sand, and see where I go from there. But I mean, all in all, it's been pretty my home away from home. It's been pretty much my home away from home. At home. You know, I come home from work, hard day, sit down, listen to the water trickling down the waterfalls, down the streams, and it's peaceful. But I did have issues where, like I said, I've been working on the waterfall and stuff, and I broke off some of this, I don't know if I pronounce it wrong, forgive me, it's Alternaria Alternaria Ruby. I think it's Little Ruby or Purple Night, I'm not sure. Doesn't get full sun all day, so that's why you get some of the green. But in the process of doing the waterfall, I broke some off, and I just doing an experiment and stuck some down there in a real shady area in the water, and she's growing. So what I might do over winter, some of it, and see if I can keep it around and propagate it, is I'm going to stick it in a jar that I actually have sitting in my bedroom window that has some aquarium plants in there. And anyone who ever told me that this parrot feather is evasive is, at least in my experience, insane, because it never took off for me. So yeah, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's my little jar in there. Got a couple of aquarium plants. I'm gonna stick some of this Alternaria in there and see what happens. Got some here, didn't do so well because it didn't get as much light. But it's gonna help me out with planning for next year. I mean, I might take out this Japanese maple, weeping maple, and transplant it someplace else, along with some ideas I have. So again, like I've always said, I want to do it this year, but I get caught up with a lot of other stuff, kids softball and work. But I want to take this, and water seems to stop right here. It overflows, so I'm going to dig that out, dig it deep, maybe a couple feet, 2 feet, maybe a foot, and then go take it down here and have it open up and go that way for a drainage. So it's not well, what happens is water comes out, comes down my spout into my pond, doop doop doop, bouncing 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 right here, hits the concrete, goes towards the house, kind of waters this part of the garden a little bit, and then straight on down. Instead of that, I want to make like a dry river bed here and let it go down this way. Eventually I would like to take it and make a river or a big stream out of it, and then bring it down here and then plant what is it called, cattails at the edge, so any excess water will come down. The cattails will provide a fence like appearance, and do also on this side. I have an extra pond that I found that I want to repurpose. And I'm thinking about doing the same thing for here. Is come through this area here, come alongside this into the pond, come out, come down, and then around. I don't know what it would take to grow cattails. I haven't really done my research on it. If it needs constant water or if it needs just a little bit. But yeah, here's my one downspout that I want to try to turn it and go in here. And then have the pump from this pond go up in here and through. Again, my goal for this house anyway is to have the least amount of grass as possible, with having a pleasing aesthetic on the in the yard. I mean, I got 2 shade trees. That one's gonna be a monster like this one. I mean, it's not really a monster; it just has a lot of spread. I mean, I bought this magnolia a couple of years ago, planted it. It was as tall as I am, and I'm about 6 foot. It was actually a little shorter than me. Now it's 10 to 12 foot tall. They produce beautiful flowers at in spring. Produce great shade tree during the summer, and quite a mess. I mean, this ain't half of it. I gotta clean this up today. I'm gonna mow over it and mulch it and then throw it in my garden. And yeah, it's it produces nice and shade, and kind of want a flagstone patio in here somewhere. You know, maybe a propane fire pit. I can just sit out here and relax and chill out. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it might not be costly, cost effective. Or I mean, I do work with gas. Might run a line from the house. I might run it through the house, underneath some stuff here, and then out here. Then have a natural gas thing with a shut-off valve. So I don't know. I mean, there's a million and one ways to do that. So we'll see what happens. I mean, right now this is my plans for this year, and this is what happened this year. And I'm really pleased with the impatiens and the Alternatharia ruby red and my lilies. Completely amazed about the Amazon sword coming back in the what you call it. And this little girl here helped me do this part of the pond this year. This part here to connect it everything. So I mean, she's had a big part in the pond, huge part in the pond, to make sure it flowed right. So I guess that's it for this video. And any questions, leave them in the comments section below. Any suggestions, anything. Alright guys, have a good one.